face-to-face meeting between the Senate hopefuls. Frank Luntz was there to watch all of it go down, and joining me now from Louisville with a special Hannity focus group of Kentucky voters is the pollster president of the Word Doctors, the man himself, Frank Luntz. Frank.
Sean, we're going all across the country trying to focus on what real voters have to say in this election campaign. And so we found ourselves in Louisville. Tonight, we did watch those debates. If you can hand me one of these dials, they turned it up or down based on whether they liked what they had to say. Let's first check out a clip from Rand Paul. Now, the red line, those represent Republicans. The green line represents Democrats. The higher the lines climb, the more favorable the reaction. And our group liked what Rand Paul had to say.
Both sides have proved themselves untrustworthy, Republicans and Democrats. With a rule, they will be forced to make difficult decisions. In Kentucky, we have a balanced budget amendment, and they have to make tough decisions. That's what we need. The second thing we need is a compromise, Republicans and Democrats, to say that the entire budget is open. We can't make military spending off limits. We can't make entitlements off limits. We can't take discretionary spending off limits. The entire budget has to be looked at if we're serious about balancing the budget.
There are very rare times in this election cycle, Sean, when Republicans and Democrats both react favorably to what both candidates have to say. And this is one of those times, at least at the beginning of the debate. Now, Jack Conway also created a very favorable response when he talked about taxes. Let's take a look.
I'm an independent Kentucky Democrat. I've broken with my party where appropriate. As Attorney General, I've taken on the pharmaceutical companies. I've taken on the oil companies. I even had to take on my governor on the occasional issue. And on the issue of taxes, I'm not like a lot of typical Democrats. I've said that in a time of recession, it's no time to be raising taxes. So let's extend the Bush tax cut provisions, and let's extend the provisions regarding the estate tax. Small family farms and small businesses throughout the Commonwealth of Kentucky need to have some assurance from the federal tax code that they can pass down a family business or pass down a family farm to the next generation. That's the essence. That's the essence of what Kentucky is about.
Frank, I'm stunned. He sounds like a conservative and was running as far away from his party as he can get.
Well, here's what's interesting, Sean. How many of you think that Rand Paul is the more negative candidate in this campaign? Raise your hands. Who thinks he's more negative? Who thinks Conway is more negative? Raise your hands. Look at this, Sean. They're split 50-50 on who they support. But what is it about this negativity that's coming from Jack Conway that bothers you?
Well, facts are, I hear a lot of different politicians going back and forth, and I'm a small business owner, and in my case, I want better for my family. This is America. I have the right to fail, the right to succeed, and I've had the opportunity to start an Amway business, and I've had people that supported me, and if the business owners and the people that are supporting me are being taxed, then that hurts me. So I want them to do well so that I can do well.
Are there other small, Jeff?
I'm a small business owner as well, and I would rather hear a candidate that would fix the problem rather than fix blame. And I see Conway trying to fix blame rather than the problem.
In the debate tonight, Conway spent the first, I don't know how his opening statement, just attack, 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 attack. And Paul gets out there and he didn't mention Conway by name once, I don't believe.
I'm a small business owner as well, and I feel that the biggest thing that is going to make this election happen is listening to the small business owner. We make a lot of jobs in this country. I think we're being overlooked, and it doesn't matter whether you're left wing or right wing. And Rand Paul addressed that better than Jack Conway did.
I'd say it's very easy to do some mudslinging, but it's a lot harder to actually talk about the things that you've gotten accomplished and that you intend to get accomplished.
I don't believe Democrats when they talk about tax cuts. I think when Democrats talk about tax cuts, they talk about targeted tax cuts, and that makes them irrelevant for the majority of us.
Okay, Sean, what's interesting is that you see a difference in the business community. And I've always argued that the small business owner, the people that the U.S. Chamber represent, that those are the people that have been forgotten in politics.
Good point.
And it's pretty clear from these voters right here that they're the ones that these candidates should be talking to.
Frank, well, I want to ask this because I'm listening to the comments of everybody, and I hear we know that Rand Paul is a small government conservative and a Tea Party member. That has been brought up quite a bit in the campaign. What's interesting to me is, we know that Conway will also support the Democratic majority, likely to vote with the president often, likely to support Harry Reid as majority leader should they maintain a majority. Does that impact the votes of people in spite of him trying to sound as conservative as he can tonight?
You know that the first vote that they always cast is for majority leader. So does the fact that Rand Paul would vote for Harry Reid, does that have any impact on anybody here? Is that a positive for you? Sorry, that Jack Conway would support Harry Reid.
Yes, I'm a Democrat, so I would appreciate that. But
any impact for you?
Yeah, negative impact, big one.
Negative impact, absolutely.
Ron?
Yes, no, not to vote for Harry Reid or Pelosi.
Well, let me just ask you very quickly. Janet, a word or phrase to describe Nancy Pelosi?
I think she's a puppet.
Yeah, West Coast liberal.
Very disappointing.
Arrogant.
Unruly.
Untrustworthy.
Elitist.
Elitist.
Ineffective.
a leader.
A leader. One positive, Sean, the rest negative. Kentucky is one of those states where the national Democratic leadership, Harry Reid and Nancy Pelosi, are bringing down Jack Conway's campaign, and you can hear it here. You all frustrated with Nancy Pelosi?
Yes.
Do you want her out?
Yes.
And those include people who are supporting Jack Conway.
Fascinating stuff. All right, we're going to have much more with Frank and his focus group in Kentucky. Plus, the Democrats have